Let us look at another example of break-even analysis. TripMaker is a travel agency specializing in flights between Boston and London. It books passengers on Maxus Airlines. Maxus charges passengers $900 per round-trip ticket. Now, until last month, Maxus paid TripMaker a commission of 10% of the ticket price paid by each passenger. This commission was TripMaker's only source of revenues. Now, TripMaker's fixed costs are $14,000 per month, which goes into salaries, rent, and so on. And its variable costs are $20 per ticket purchased for a passenger. Now, this $20 includes a $15 per ticket delivery fee paid to the courier delivery company. To keep the analysis simple, we assume each round-trip ticket purchased is delivered in a separate package. Thus, the $15 delivery fee applies to each ticket. Now, Maxus Airlines has just announced a revised payment schedule for travel agents. It will now pay travel agents a 10% commission per ticket up to a maximum of $50. Any ticket costing more than $500 generates only a $50 commission regardless of the ticket price. Now, first, what are we being asked to do is, under the old 10% commission structure, how many round-trip tickets must TripMaker sell each month to A, break even, and B, earn an operating income of $7,000 per month? Second, how does Maxus Airlines' revised payment schedule affect your answers to A and B in point number 1? So here the problem statement is pretty big. So let's try to understand the problem statement in little more detail. So TripMaker is a travel agency specializing in flights between Boston and London. So this person here represents the TripMaker agency, which is specializing in booking flights between Boston and London. It books passengers on Maxus Airlines. So this aeroplane here represents the airlines, Maxus Airlines. So the agency TripMaker specializes in booking trips on Maxus Airlines. Now, Maxus charges passengers $900 per round-trip ticket. So the fee of the airline from Boston to London is $900 per round-trip ticket. Now, until last month, Maxus paid TripMaker a commission of 10% of the ticket price paid by each passenger. So let's say this gentleman is the passenger who wants to fly from Boston to London and then back from London to Boston. Now, in this case, we are assuming that this gentleman is approaching the travel agency to book the flight on Maxus Airlines. So he pays $900 per round-trip ticket. Now, the travel agency gets 10% commission on each ticket booked on Maxus Airlines. So TripMaker now has a revenue of $90 per round trip ticket for booking on Maxus Airlines. And the remaining, which is $810, is given to Maxus Airlines, right? So $810 per round trip ticket. Now this 90 is 10% of 900. That's why the revenue is $90 per round trip ticket, and 900 minus 90 is 810, which goes to Maxus Airlines. Now this commission was TripMaker's only source of revenues. Now TripMaker also is running its own business, so it has its own costs. So we classified the cost into fixed cost and variable cost. So TripMaker's fixed costs are $14,000 per month. So the fixed cost is $14,000 per month. And its variable costs are $20 per ticket purchased for a passenger. So the variable cost is $20 per round trip ticket. Now this $20 includes a $15 per ticket delivery fee paid to the courier delivery company. So out of this $20 per round trip ticket, $15 are being spent on the courier delivery. So $15 per round trip ticket. Now to keep the analysis simple, we assume each round trip ticket purchased is delivered in a separate package. Thus the $15 delivery fee applies to each ticket. So in real life scenario, it may so happen that one person is ordering 3 round trip tickets, 1 for himself and 2 for his family members. And in that case, there may be only one courier delivery fee of $15 for all the 3, because all the 3 can be put in one envelope and delivered to the person. But here, to make it simple, we are assuming that each round trip ticket is being delivered in a separate package and has a delivery cost of $15. So what we're saying is that each ticket has a variable cost of $20. Now Maxus Airlines has just announced a revised payment schedule for travel agents. It will now pay travel agents a 10% commission per ticket up to a maximum of $50. So basically, earlier, if the ticket cost was $900, the commission was 10%, so the agency was getting $90 out of $900. Now there is a cap on the amount that the agency can get, and that cap is $50. So if, let's say, the cost of the ticket that the airlines is charging is $700, then 10% of that is $70. But because the cap is of $50, the agency will only get $50 as the revenue per round trip ticket. So any ticket costing more than $500 generates only a $50 commission regardless of the price. So if it is $300, let's say the ticket cost is $300, then 10% is $30. So the agency will get $30. But if it is more than 500, then the agency will only get $50. Now what we are being asked to do is, first, under the old 10% commission structure, how many round trip tickets must TripMaker sell each month in order to break even and earn an operating income of $7,000 per month? Second, how does Maxus Airlines' revised payment schedule affect your answers to A and B in point number 1? So let's try to get these answers for TripMaker and Maxus Airlines. So as per the information provided to us in this example, in the old commission structure, the travel agency TripMaker gets 10% of the ticket price. And the current ticket price given to us is $900. So 10% of $900 is $90, and that is the revenue that TripMaker is making. So each ticket that TripMaker sells, it earns $90. What that means is that it is as good as the selling price for each ticket for TripMaker. Now we denote the unit selling price as small p. So p is equal to $90. Now the fixed cost has been given as $14,000 per month. So F is $14,000 per month. Now the variable cost per ticket is given to us as $20, and variable cost is denoted as small c. So variable cost is $20 per return ticket. Now in the old commission structure, we have to find out how many round trip tickets must TripMaker sell each month in order to break even. So first we'll find break even. Now we know that to break even, the total cost should be equal to the total revenue. The total cost is equal to the fixed cost plus the variable cost, and revenue is revenue, or this is equal to fixed cost plus, now the variable cost is the total quantity sold multiplied by the unit variable cost, and this is equal to the total revenue, which is the total quantity sold multiplied by the unit selling price. Now let's bring Q on one side of the equation. So QP minus QC is equal to F, or Q multiplied by P minus C is equal to F, or Q is equal to F divided by P minus C, where Q is nothing but the break-even quantity, where the total cost is equal to total revenue. So this is equal to, now fixed cost is 14,000, and this divided by P, which is 90, and C, which is 20. So 90 minus 20 is 70. So 0 gets cancelled with 0. 7 2s are 14, and these two zeros. So quantity at break even is 200 units. And in our case, units is round trip tickets. So this is equal to 200 round trip tickets. So this is the break even quantity. And again, because we had taken fixed cost in terms of month, we are saying we have to sell 200 round trip tickets per month in order to break even. Now let's move to the part B, which says how many round trip tickets must TripMaker sell each month in order to earn an operating income of $7,000 per month. So let's move to that one. So B, operating income is equal to $7,000 per month. Now we know that operating income is equal to the total revenue minus the total cost, or operating income is equal to the total revenue TR minus, now total cost is the addition of fixed cost and the variable cost. So fixed cost plus the variable cost, or operating income is equal to, now total revenue will be the number of tickets sold multiplied by the selling price, Now again, the selling price in this case is not exactly the selling price, but the revenue earned by the trip maker agency. So here in this case, TR is Q, which is the quantity, multiplied by P, which is the unit selling price, minus F is fixed cost, plus V, variable cost, will be Q multiplied by the unit variable cost, or operating income is equal to Q is what we have to find out, multiplied by P, which is 90, minus F, which is 14,000, plus Q multiplied by C, which is 20, or operating income is equal to, so 90Q minus 14,000 minus, because we'll open the bracket here, so minus plus is minus, and this is 20Q. Now we need the operating income to be $7,000 per month. So let's put the operating income as 7,000 is equal to 90 minus 20 is 70 Q minus 14,000, or let's bring this 14,000 on the other side here, or Q is equal to 21,000 divided by 70, 0 gets cancelled with 0, 7 3s are 21 and 2 zeros, or Q is equal to 300 units or 300 round trip tickets. So since the operating income needed is $7,000 per month, the number of tickets to be sold is also in terms of per month, so 300 round trip tickets per month. So as soon as TripMaker sells 200 round trip tickets per month, it starts to break even, and once it starts increasing it starts making profits, and as soon as it hits 300 round trip tickets per month, then it starts making a profit of $7,000 per month. Now let us look at the new commission structure. Now in the new commission structure, if the price of the round trip ticket is more than $500 and 10% of that turns out to be more than $50, then the agency will only get $50 at the maximum. And in this case, the price of the ticket is $900. So per ticket sold, TripMaker will only make $50. Fixed cost of the company remains the same, which is $14,000 per month, and the variable cost also remains the same, which is $20. So basically in this case, the revenue that the agency is making is reducing, however the cost remains the same. So now the same thing, we have to find out at what point will the agency break even. So we know the formula for break even point, which is Q is equal to F divided by P minus C. So the break even quantity is equal to fixed cost divided by P minus C. P minus C is also known as contribution margin. So this is equal to fixed cost, which is $14,000 divided by P, which is 50, minus C, which is 20. So this is 14,000 divided by 30. So 0 gets cancelled with 0. 3 4s are 12. 2 carry over. 3 6s are 18. 2 carry over. 3 6s are 18. 0.66 and so on. So we can say 467 tickets per month. So these many tickets are needed in order to break even in the new commission structure. So in the old structure, the company had to sell only 200 tickets. But now, because the revenue has reduced and the cost is still the same, so it needs to do more volume selling in order to break even. Now, for the second part, if the operating income needed is $7,000 per month, so we'll use the same formula. So operating income is equal to Q multiplied by P minus F plus Q multiplied by C. Or let's plug in the numbers. So 7,000 is equal to, so Q is what we want to find out, multiplied by P, which is 50, minus F is 14,000, plus Q multiplied by C, which is 20. Or 7,000 is equal to 50Q minus 14,000 minus 20Q, or 7,000 is equal to 50 minus 20 is 30, so 30Q minus 14,000, or let's bring this 14,000 on the other side. So 14 plus 7, which will be 21,000, is equal to 30Q, or Q is equal to 21,000 divided by 30. 3 sevens are 21, 0, 0. So this is equal to 700 round trip tickets per month. So 700 round trip tickets per month is needed in order to make an operating income of $7,000 per month. In the old commission structure, the agency needed to sell only 300 round trip tickets per month in order to make an operating income of $7,000. So this is how you can analyze the impact of change in revenue to the volume needed to be sold.